Welcome again, and thank you for being here for today's virtual power lunch. I'm Avis Wukash, the board chair for the Round Rock Chamber. You know, we wanted to start this year's power lunch series off just right with some important news from Reid Ryan, the CEO of Ryan Sanders Sports and Entertainment. We welcome Reid, and we thank you so much for being here. And thank you to the Ryan family for all the investment you've provided for your many businesses in Round Rock. You're a huge part of the growth of this area. And we're all excited to hear what's in store. And of course, we're all huge baseball fans. And before we get started, I'm just going to address a few housekeeping items to everyone. You'll notice, everyone on the call, that you're muted, and all guests will remain muted throughout the program. If you have any questions or you need assistance, please use the question and answer function located at the bottom of the screen. We'll have a Q&A session at the end of Reid Ryan's presentation. Please submit your questions as they arise into the Q&A box. At the end of the program, you're invited to stick around for some networking. We will open up the chat and encourage you to say hello, and feel free to share your contact information if you'd like with others that you connect with after today's event. And we want to thank today's sponsor, Whataburger, for making today's event possible. We're so thankful for your support. And so, Ryan Hadcock, I'd like you to turn your picture on and give us a few remarks and then introduce our speaker, Mr. Hadcock.
Well, thank you so much, Avis. We are privileged to be able to sponsor this virtual lunch. Hopefully you all are eating something, and hopefully it's a Whataburger. If not, we'll give you a pass today. So I just want to touch base real quickly and talk about our business. You know, Whataburger has for now 70 years been a huge part of communities that we are grown in. We're Texas born, we're Texas grown, and we're also a Texas treasure. So we have huge community outreach with our company, Whataburger. Couple things locally that I wanted to touch base on with you, just so you know how involved we are in the community. Just this last year, we raised $108,000 with our Dell Children's Medical Center drive that we do right before Christmas. So that's 2 years in a row. We've actually reached over $200,000 raised to help local children here in our community. Some other great fundraisers that maybe you know or maybe you don't know that we participate in. We partner a lot with our schools and a lot of our organizations locally. In 2020, even amidst the COVID constraints, we actually had 23 fundraisers with local high school groups. In 2021, we've had 7 fundraisers already this year. And just the last couple of weeks, we were to Stony Point High School, our girls soccer team. They just raised $857 just a couple weeks ago. So we are a part of the community. Yes, we love to feed you as a community, but we also reach out to other aspects of the community to help you know, build camaraderie and help local organizations, and especially our students, to help them thrive. We've got great scholarships that are available for anybody in the community that they can apply at. And so we love that as an option. We love our communities. And we like to stay at home and to serve our communities. Some other services you may or may not know about with Whataburger. Catering is an option. We've delivered you know, honey butter chicken biscuits to weddings that are having a late night. You know, so think of us when you're having parties and get-togethers. We'd love to jump in there and help you whenever we can. We've got group menus, we've got local discounted school dining menus. You know, we've done local teacher events and things of that nature. We're growing here locally. Some of you may have driven by. We have a new store that's going up on 620 and Smyers Lane over by the hospital. Come down and visit us. We're going to be opening April 5th over there. And another little teaser, within the next year, we'll have another Whataburger somewhere in the Round Rock area as well. So we are growing, and we're excited to be a part of your community and our community. So let's move from Whataburger into baseball. By the way, Whataburger is heavily committed to baseball. We even have a field down in Corpus Christi, and so that's pretty awesome that we're named after. But I wanted to stop and introduce our guest speaker today. It's hard to live and work in Round Rock and not know the name Reid Ryan. As many of you know, Reid Ryan has worked extensively in professional baseball for over 20 years and has positively impacted the Round Rock community in so many ways. Ryan currently serves as CEO of Ryan Sanders Sports and Entertainment after rejoining the organization that he founded following a successful 7-year tenure as president of business operations for the Houston Astros. Ryan served as the founder and original CEO of Ryan Sanders Baseball, which has since grown into Ryan Sanders Sports and Entertainment. He is credited with the idea of creating the Round Rock Express and Corpus Christi Hooks baseball clubs. Ryan was named the president of business operations for the Houston Astros in May 2013, becoming one of the youngest team presidents in baseball. His time in Houston included the best stretch of an on-field success in franchise history as the Houston Astros captured the 2017 World Series title, as well as the American League pennant in 2019. In addition to his success as a sports executive, Reid Ryan also serves as a director and organizer of Our Bank and is a board member and shareholder for Nolan Ryan Brands, which also owns Nolan Ryan Beef. Ryan has served on numerous nonprofit boards and has helped raise more than $1 million for charity. Reid Ryan's commitment to the community and Round Rock is unwavering, and it's my pleasure to introduce Reid Ryan. Mr. Ryan, thank you for being here today.
All right, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. And thanks to Whataburger for always being such a great sponsor of minor league baseball and baseball in general. And it's awesome to be here today. Thank you, Avis and Lauren and Jason and everybody for inviting me back. I just got to say, it's awesome to be back with Ryan Sanders Baseball. You know, it's a company that I founded back in 1998. And you look up and here it is, 2021. And man, it just, time flies. It's amazing. I think the thing that I'm most excited about being back in Round Rock with the club is that, having left in 2013 and coming back now in 2021, Round Rock's a different community. This is a different town. The Austin market is a different market, and Ryan Sanders Baseball really is a different company today. We're doing so many more things, and I'm going to dig into that here in a little bit. Honestly, I'm really glad I went to Houston. It was an incredible experience for me to grow both personally and professionally. And during that time, got to do some incredible things that I would have never got to experience if I didn't make the jump to go. We worked through a crazy TV deal where, we weren't on most of the state and went through a whole growth of streaming platform and streaming. We made a movie about Jose Altuve. I got to run 2 Hall of Fame ceremonies, one for Jeff Bagwell, one for Craig Biggio in Cooperstown. That was really special and something neat that most people never get to be a part of. We ended up doing about a $60 million renovation to Minute Maid Park, where we took out the iconic Towles Hill and kind of rebuilt that whole thing. Got to build a spring training facility in West Palm Beach, $150 million facility that we worked on with the Washington Nationals. Built an A-ball facility in Fayetteville, North Carolina for the Astros A-ball team and moved that from California to North Carolina. We started an Astros Hall of Fame, and obviously we had the on-field success of going to the playoffs and getting to be in two World Series and winning one of those. And kind of the icing on the cake from the whole World Series perspective was getting to be part of a parade through downtown Houston and obviously making a trip to the White House and taking the World Series trophy and then getting to design a World Series ring. And so I say all of that with the simple fact that if Round Rock hadn't opened their arms to me and my family back in 1998 when we voted to pass the stadium bond, I don't think any of those opportunities would have ever come my way. And so I hold in deep regard and deep appreciation all of those that bet on a 26-year-old kid back in the late 90s to deliver a first-class minor league facility to this community. And, we've been able to do it. And I think the thing that I'm most excited about returning is that it's the people here in this community, the staff that I get to work with on a daily basis, and really just the Central Texas area. So it's really kind of perfect timing for me to return because our industry is going through a tremendous amount of changes with not only COVID, but what happened with minor league baseball and Major League Baseball. And so without getting too deep in the weeds, basically after 50 plus years of a traditional relationship that involved contractual affiliates, MLB decided to sort of blow up the whole minor league system and start over. And so, last year we had 160 teams going into what ended up being a COVID canceled season. We come out of that with 120 teams. So 40 communities around the country were not renewed in affiliation with Major League Baseball. Not only did that kind of reduction of teams happen, but MLB changed leagues, they changed levels, they changed affiliations, they changed the terms of the deal, and really are changing a lot of the rules that you're going to see govern our game, from extra innings to instant replay to eventually, I think, having robo umpires. And so you're going to see some dramatic and drastic changes at our level. So what does that really mean for Round Rock? What does that mean for Express fans? So going into the 2021 season, we are now the AAA affiliate of the Texas Rangers. We've kind of been Astros, then we went to Rangers, we went back to Astros. We now are back with the Texas Rangers. This was a decision that Major League Baseball made along with the Rangers. It's going to be a 10-year agreement for us. So I'm very excited to be with a club that we know very well, and not be with somebody that, doesn't really have synergies with us in this area. So the Rangers are a very familiar group, part of our family in a lot of ways, with all of our years up there. And with a 10-year agreement, it means that our fans are going to have an affiliation here for a long time, and they're going to get to know that club very well. We are no longer a member of the Pacific Coast League. That was a 16-team league. They basically kind of took everybody really east of Texas and moved them into another league, and we're now what is being called AAA West. I think eventually you'll have a corporate sponsor with this league, kind of like the G League has with Gatorade and the NBA. But for this year, we're going to be the AAA West, and it's going to be 10 teams. So it's going to be all Southwest Airlines cities, very easy travel for us, a couple bus trips. We do have a new team. Sugarland is now an affiliated team. They took the Astros spot. So that'll be very convenient for us, having a club 2.5, 3 hours away that we can bus to. You're going to see a new schedule this year. Because of COVID, we are going to have a dedicated off day every day of the week, and that's going to be Wednesdays. And we're going to play the same team basically Thursday through Tuesday. So they will be 6-game homestands or 6-game road trips where we're going to travel to one city, or one city is going to come to us. We're going to play that team 6 games. This year is going to go May through September. Traditionally, we've been April through August. But they're pushing it back a little bit because of COVID in an attempt to, 1, get the numbers down, 2, hopefully get all of our players vaccinated, and let communities continue to get vaccinated. So it'll be a 120-game season. We're going to start May 6th here at home. We're going to be playing Oklahoma City here May 6th, and our last home game of the year will be September 14th against Sugarland. So May to September. Playoffs right now, we're not sure what's going to happen with the playoffs for this year. If they are going to determine a league champ with the best record, or if we're going to have some kind of shortened playoff, maybe between the top 2 teams, that is still being worked out at this time. And the schedule that we're running for this year will not be the schedule, I don't believe, that we will have moving forward. So we'll see what that looks like. I'm not sure that off day will stay in there, but it's at least going to be in there for this year. Right now, we're working on an opening day plan of socially distant fans, but I'm really expecting that to change as we get closer to May 6th. I know the Rangers are opening up April 5th, and they're going to go with a 100% opening plan. And so we're hoping the success the Rangers are having will obviously lead to us having the ability to do that by the end of May. But obviously, with the city of Round Rock and everything we have going on, we're just going to have to wait and see how that shakes out over the course of the year. As far as my role goes with Ryan Sanders and the Express, Chris Almendaris and Tim Jackson are still going to be the day-to-day guys running the Express. Chris is the president. Tim is the general manager. These guys have done a phenomenal job over the last couple of years, and we're not going to change anything on that level. My focus really is going to be kind of at 30,000 feet as we continue to grow this relationship. And I'm going to really put a lot of my focus this year in this new relationship between MLB and minor league baseball in how we kind of get through this COVID year with travel in the games and fans and all of that. So I'm really going to try to put my influence at the league level because, you know, with my years in Houston, I have a lot of relationships there that I think can be important to us. From RS3 or Ryan Sanders Baseball, we're doing a lot of stuff in this market. Our concessions group manages the HEB Center in Cedar Park. We run Circuit of the Americas, both the track and the stadium, and the Austin 360 Amphitheater from a concession and F&B perspective. We recently just picked up the Austin Rodeo, and we're out working the livestock show for those guys right now. We're really looking forward to the rodeo coming back. We've grown across the country. We're running the concessions in AA for Pensacola, Florida. We're consulting this year with Beloit and A-Ball in Wisconsin. We're running the Co-America Center in Frisco. They just had the NIT there. They have a junior league there for hockey for the Stars. We've consulted in Sacramento, California with the AAA team out there. And so we're really growing our concession and F&B footprint around the country. From a turf perspective, we've really seen the last couple of years big growth with RS3 Turf. We manage the city of Round Rock's multiplex there at Old Settlers. We run St. Edward's University. We're running Amarillo Sod Poodles, their stadium in the Texas League, which is now AA. We're running San Antonio Missions Field, Lone Star Soccer. We just helped the new Wichita AA club with their grounds and getting a new groundskeeper. And so we're working with a lot of teams and sports entities across the country. From a natural grass perspective, we finished a big project in Pflugerville. We just did one in Steiner Ranch, helped Texas State with their project, just worked with El Paso to resod their facility. And then with artificial turf, we created a partnership in the last couple of years with an Austin group called Act Global. And my dad created his own, what we call Nolan Ryan 34 or NR 34 synthetic turf for baseball. So we have what is the premier turf in all of baseball. And we just finished a project in Houston for Second Baptist School. I just did a big one in Florida at Bradenton Christian and did one in Key West. I just finished one in Fort Worth for Rockerbie Ranch. I did West Orange Stark earlier in the spring and did Rice Consolidated earlier in the spring. And so we're really growing that business, and that's run by Garrett Redahays, who came up through the Express as our head groundskeeper. And so I'm really kind of working on these other opportunities right now. I will still be at Express games throughout the year, but I'm really going to be interfacing with a lot of our clients and really kind of working on growing these other businesses where I have influence and relationships. And so that's kind of what's happening with the world of Ryan Sanders baseball. You know, a lot of folks ask me about the future of live events, the Express, what's happening out at the Dell Diamond in a post-COVID world. I'm extremely bullish. I think that as more people get vaccinated and as our numbers go down, I think there's a pent-up demand for people really to get back out and do things with community, do things together with their families. Just during COVID at the Dell Diamond, and I'm really proud of our staff, we've really become leaders in the space of live events, socially distant in a responsible way. We ran a college summer league, the Harry Men. We've had multiple concerts. We just had Cody Johnson this last weekend. We had Coe Wetzel. We've got Midland coming up on Friday night. We did a big bull riding event with the Austin Rodeo. And with all of these events we've done during COVID at the Dell Diamond, we've had no issues with spread, with people feeling unsafe. It's just been really top notch. And what we're seeing is that a lot of people are self-selecting, whether they've had it or they're not in a high risk category, or, you know, they're very comfortable with the way we've done things. People have wanted to come out. And so as the numbers fall, I think you're going to see these live sporting events, concerts, live music, plays really just start to take off. What we've seen so far in 21 have been extremely strong per caps at all of the venues in Austin, where people are coming out and spending money and really kind of wanting to get back to life. From a community give back perspective, we worked with the county, Williamson County, and the Dell Diamond currently right now is a vaccination site right now. We started out doing about 2,000 vaccinations a day earlier in March. We're now up to 4,000 with our goal to be 5,000. So if you're somebody that's interested in getting vaccinated, all you have to do is go to wilco.org, which is Williamson County, www.wilco.org, and sign up right now. The state of Texas is open to anyone, I think over the age of 16 that wants to sign up. You sign up online, they give you a time, you pull in the Dell Diamond, you pull right into the tent, and they vaccinate you right there in the car. So it's something you've wanted to do. We've committed to do this all the way through May, just because we feel like we have the space and the population is at this end of the county and people are wanting to get vaccinated. So really that's what we're looking to do, is try to help out in any way possible. And so as we move forward in 21, you're going to see the Express get back to doing what we do best. And that is giving Round Rock a front porch, a place to come out and share each other's lives, a place to see kids chase their dreams on the field, and also bring as many special events to our community as we can. I know from hitting some of the restaurants this week, Salt Lick and Pork and Barrel, and, even over at Kalahari, people were very excited about the events that we're getting back at the Dell Diamond and the fact that we're going to grow this capacity over the course of the summer. So second half of the summer, do I think we'll be at 100%? Yeah, I really do. I think after 4th of July, we're going to see that, people are going to feel comfortable and that these stadiums are going to start to fill up. And we're just excited to get back to doing what we do best, which is entertaining people and giving them great customer service. And so with that, kind of my State of the Union here on Round Rock Express and Ryan Sanders baseball, I'd love to open it up to questions, Jason, if that works for you.
Awesome, you bet. Reid, thank you so much for that run through. Before we get into Q&A, I just want to invite all of our attendees. We've got about 70 people on the Zoom today, so a lot of people are interested in your presentation, your comments. Anyone that has questions, please jump down in the middle center of your screen. There should be a Q&A button. You can type it in here. I've got it on the screen here in front of me. I'm going to zip through those. Your questions will be better than mine, so please type those in. And I'm going to jump over here to the screen right away. Someone was asking about what about, it sounds like the possibility of a AAA All-Star game coming this year. Is that something that's in the offing?
Yeah, so we were awarded the AAA All-Star game, I guess 2 years ago, that was supposed to take place in the season that was canceled. And so this year it doesn't look like we're going to have an All-Star game because of the building in of these days off for travel, because outside of Sugar Land and maybe Oklahoma City, we fly commercially everywhere in AAA. And so with the compaction of the schedule, I don't think we're going to have one this year. Something that we did announce that's going to be really big for the hotels in this community was during that time frame that we had held for the All-Star game. We announced last week that Cal Ripken and Billy Ripken with Ripken Baseball are going to hold a big event in Round Rock for the first time out at Old Settlers Park and at the Dell Diamond. And so we are going to do that event during that time frame. And then last year, our relationship with the Texas Collegiate League was incredible. And we hosted one of their teams as the Harry Men. And we may try to do their collegiate all-star game during that time as well. We're still working on that. But what's great about that is the amount of guys throwing in the mid to upper 90s last year. It really became the who's who of college baseball. And all of those players we had are guys that you're going to see getting drafted and being in the major league soon. So we're excited about that. And then hopefully next year we will be able to pick that AAA All-Star game up when we get back to 140 game season.
Fantastic. Thank you. This is my own curiosity, but I'm going to jump in before we go back to Q&A. I love a good team rivalry. And now that the Sugar Land's hosting a team, do you see a strong team rivalry either with Sugar Land or anywhere else? Or are there specific team challenges that you look forward to every year under the new league arrangement that we have?
Yeah, great question. You know, I think it'll be fun having us play the Sugar Land guys. There'll be some of those players that were in Round Rock in 19 that fans will remember. But a lot of those guys that were really successful, like Jordan Alvarez and several other guys, ended up, you know, they're going to be in the major leagues today. So I don't know that we'll see them anymore. For me, I think the exciting thing is, you know, the Rangers are in a spot now where, you know, the Astros were when I got down there in 2013, where they're really rebuilding at the major league level. And the benefit of that is that they're trading their players, you know, for prospects. And those prospects are going to come through. They're going to be drafting higher, which means they're going to be getting better draft picks. They're going to be coming through. So I'm really expecting the Express kind of 22, 23 and beyond to have really good teams. I think 21 is going to be wide open because of COVID and how many players they're going to keep on this roster at the major league level. The roster at major leagues and AAA are going to be expanded. These players are going to be able to go back and forth more freely. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out with the testing, the quarantining, and all the things that we're going to be dealing with this year until the rest of the country gets vaccinated and really kind of catches up with where Texas is.
Hey, Reid, I'm getting some notices. It sounds like my audio is getting pitchy with me here. Can you hear me okay, or do I need to make some changes?
I didn't on the last question, but I can now, and I can also read these questions if you want me to read them.
Yeah, you bet. If you want to jump through questions, just in case I'm still having technical difficulties. I see the next one is partnerships within our area for select teams. Do you want to address that one?
Yeah, so I just kind of talked about that a little bit with the partnership with Ripken Baseball. We love having championship games played at the Dell Diamond. I think it's a great experience for kids to get to play. It's also great for those that are moving into high school because we do have the high school championships here, and we've extended that. We have a 10-year extension with those guys. And so, you know, I think we're in a good spot for youth baseball to continue to grow that. The one thing that we did, Jason, with this new schedule in Major League Baseball was great, was respecting the fact that UIL is a tradition in Round Rock. The state championships, everybody dreams of playing at the Dell Diamond in high school. And so MLB's committed to us to continue to schedule around that, which will be great, which is really, really good for us. Let's see some of these other questions. A lot of them are about your audio on here. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, will there be camps or programs for kids? Yes, we're going to continue to run our youth camps. Last year, we expanded to softball, and we were blessed to have a great partnership with Kat Osterman, Olympic gold medalist, former UT All-American. And so Kat ran our softball camps. We've been holding off a little bit on some of those until we get the schedule nailed down. And what I mean by that is we were originally set to start in April. It's been pushed back to May 6th. I know MLB is still trying to get as many players vaccinated as possible. There will be an announcement here shortly about some stuff we're going to be doing with the Rangers come April, which will be very, very, I think, beneficial to the city of Round Rock. And also will give us some exciting stuff at the stadium here until we open up May 6th. So we're still waiting to work around the camps. But yeah, that's what's going on. Let's see. Oh, my good friend Nancy said, will you host the Harrymen team again this summer? You know, we discussed it, Nancy. We really loved having the college guys here. But unfortunately, with the COVID regulations, we're going to have it AAA. Basically, everything we do this year will have to be the same as with MLB. And that means our players are going to be tested twice a week. They're going to have to be in pods. We're going to have to keep them away from the fans because if a player needs to be called up, he has to be in that same bubble that he would be in at the major league level. And so it's going to be a little bit different season until all the players get vaccinated. But because of that, we just didn't feel like we could run the college season and the AAA season at the same time. We have retained our ownership of the Texas League, Texas Collegiate League franchise. And so I wouldn't rule out us doing something with the Harrymen or having a team maybe somewhere else in the state in that collegiate league. We loved it. We had a lot of fun with it, and definitely want to continue to do that with those guys. Okay, Hollis Bone from our bank. I know that guy. He put, don't know if you mentioned, but will the Rangers come down and play a game against AAA team? No, I don't think that's going to happen this year, Hollis. In the future, possibly. I think that's one of the really the big draws for the Rangers was when we switched back over to the Astros. I think they saw the value of being in this market and really growing the fan base for their club here. And so I wouldn't surprise me if they were able to come down in the future, but in 2021, it's just not going to happen this year. Let's see. Mark said, will the amenity centers also be open during the season, including the play area? Friday fireworks still happening? Yeah, our plans are right now to keep things as normal as possible. We are having to get everything we do approved by MLB because of what I laid out with the, symbiotic nature of the AAA team to the major league club and the importance of helping those guys complete their season there. The one thing that we really have to watch out for is going to be if we do get positive tests. Probably my greatest fear is what you saw with VCU, Virginia Commonwealth, during the basketball first round of the NCAA, where if a player tests positive and you end up having to quarantine a whole team, what that does. And what that does is it means we have to forfeit games. We saw that with the Harrymen, unfortunately, the last 2 games of the season. We've seen it across all of sports. And so everything we really are going to be doing is going to be trying to complete that 120-game season, not just for us and our fans, but we owe it to the other 9 partner teams in the league. I don't want us to have a game scheduled with Sacramento and then we're not able to play those games because they were careless in Sacramento. So we all owe it to one another to try to do the very best job. And so we're going to look at these play areas and everything else we're doing. Fireworks are still going to happen. But MLB has informed us that we will not be able to do any of the on-field between innings this year, like Dizzy Bat Race, national anthems on the field, any of that kind of stuff. So we're working on where we're going to do that, which will be, top of the dugouts or possibly in the outfield by the berm. So those are some of the things we're going to have to work through right now. That leads to Rosemary's question. What are the marketing challenges you've had to overcome? And what are some of those challenges? I think, Rosemary, really the biggest one was we were set to play ball in April, and then that got pushed back because of the major leagues and their concerns on, getting their players vaccinated and COVID and travel, some of the stuff I just laid out. So I think the biggest thing that people are going to have to be ready for, I would say, is flexibility. Last year in Houston, I lived through a year of COVID play. And although it wasn't in a role as president of the club, I was consulting for the team and I was involved in a lot of those decisions and conversations. And so that's the thing. We're going to have to remain flexible and nimble, and our staff knows that. And we're hoping our fans can understand. Our goal is to get back to 100%, have everything be like it was before COVID. But I think it's going to be a slow progression, and we're going to get there eventually. And I think month to month, you're going to see things changing at the stadium. It could be as much as homestand to homestand. But yeah, those are going to be the challenges for this year. Okay. Nancy said she wants to see Jackson Ryan coaching again. So it'll be interesting to see. Jackson got to coach the Harrymen last year, but I think he is really planning on trying to do something with either the Tigers or the Angels this summer. So we'll see how that goes. He's doing really, really well. Does the Express partner with other AAA or local sports clubs? Yeah, all the time. You know, like I said, we're running the concessions for the hockey team, for the rugby team. We've done it for the USL soccer team. You know, what's great about our industry is I think we all try to learn from one another. And if there's something we're doing that's working, then we try to share those ideas. Really, there's no unique ideas. We all kind of steal from one another and tweak them to our own venue and to our own sport. And I've just always been a believer, and it's why I'm very excited about the MLS coming to town, that sports raises all ships. You know, it started here with the Austin Ice Baths, it grew to us, then it became, you know, the Stars and you know, the D-League Spurs team, the Toros. Now you've got USL soccer, you're going to have MLS soccer. And so I just think as this community grows, we need more things for kids and families. We need more activities that bring our community together. And so I think every one of these are really positive. And during my time in Houston, I had a great relationship with the Texans, with the Rockets, and with the Dynamo. And I want to continue to have that with the other teams here in Austin. Okay, man, I think Jason had all the questions right there.
Yeah, Reid, I'm hoping everyone can hear me okay. And I just want to thank you for pulling double duty. This is the world we live in with coronavirus. Technical glitches happen. I do apologize for that. And thank you for doing a couple jobs today. This has been great.
Glad to do it.
What came out, I think, in those questions is, and you had started off talking about community relationship. And I think it's very clear in the questions that are getting asked and the focus of our members and investors today that this ball club and this ball field and your organization are points of pride in the community, and we recognize that importance of a community gathering place. So again, on behalf of all of us, we just want to thank you all for your continued investment in Round Rock and relationship with our city.
Well, I appreciate it. We've had an incredible relationship with the city. I saw Craig Morgan, our mayor, had a question on here earlier, and you know, I want to thank Craig. He's been a leader in the space of enabling us to prove to him and to the council and to the community that we could run events safely. And we've really become a leader for the way the rest of the country has gone about looking at these events. For those of you that came out to the Cody Johnson show, you know, creating these pods on the field and putting the bicycle racks up and making sure people have their own space, but yet they're still getting to enjoy the show. You know, artists want to have sold out shows. They don't want to play to 4,000 or 5,000 people, but they realize that playing to 4,000 to 5,000 people is keeping the guys in their band employed. It's keeping the people that work at the stadium employed. It's keeping them top of mind with their fans. And it's been a real, and I got to thank JJ Gotch because he's really pioneered it. It's been a spirit of cooperation across, you know, the industry from music to sports and those of us that run venues. And so I know as we move forward, the city is concerned with making sure we do it the right way. We really need to get back to 100% because even at 35, 40, 50%, we're losing money, but we are keeping people employed, which is great. And so as soon as we can get back to 100%, I think we're going to be able to do things like really reinvest back in the community, hire more people back, and, you know, continue to do the kind of things that we've become accustomed, you know, to being known for, which is being very active in the community on a philanthropic level. And we want to continue to do that in the future.
Fantastic. I'm going to end on a patriotic note. We have one more interesting question come in that I'll have you respond to, and then I'll wrap it up with some ending comments. But someone's asking, you know, it's been a difficult year for musicians. Do you plan to partner with local musicians on the national anthem specifically? Yeah,
so that's been one of my things. You very rarely will ever hear a taped national anthem for an Express game. My thought is you have to have a national anthem that is sung live by somebody, especially in this town. What we're gonna have to work through this year is, like I said, COVID. They don't want people on the field around the players. We're gonna have to enforce that. And so we're gonna have to look at where we can do these national anthems, how we can do them. In Houston this past year during the COVID year, we were just playing for television because there was nobody at the stadium, maybe 10 of us. We did video national anthems of local people. And so that's always an option, but I'd love to have somebody out at the stadium. And there are so many great musicians. When we have tryouts, it's amazing how many folks try out and how many people send us their tape. So yeah, that's something we want to continue to do for sure.
Fantastic. Reid, this has been great. We'll kind of move it into wrap up comments, but again, just thank you so much for what you do. Thank you for allowing the ballpark to be part of the vaccine delivery process. Something else that's had to be invented from whole cloth for everyone this year. I want to remind everyone, please go to wilco.org. Reid was so great to point out that this morning Governor Abbott announced that starting next week for adults, the vaccine will be available to any comers. And so please pay attention to where those vaccine delivery sites are and go to the ball field if you can. But definitely, I want to make sure everyone registers in advance. I know they've had some issues with people showing up and just hoping to get in a line or anything like that. I want to be clear, they're not allowing people to do that. You'll get turned around. So please register in advance if you can. That's how the process has been set up by the state. And so that's not local decision making, that's state decision making. A few upcoming events for everyone that I want to make sure I get on your calendars. This Friday at 10 a.m. At the Sports Center at the Outdoor Pavilion, we're having our mid-morning mixer. This will be our second one. We have these very socially distanced with masks on and as safely as possible. People have jumped at the opportunity to get together and see each other in person, even if it's in a bit of a different setting. We have launched a new series. It's called our Business Leaders Series. It's targeting early and mid-stage businesses and supportive entrepreneurs. That next meeting is going to be April 6th at 8 a.m. at the Centro event space. There is no cost to attend. It is free, but please do RSVP. We have our next virtual 1 million cups round rock. And again, that's also for entrepreneurs or anyone that's interested in startups. It's going to be April 7th at 9 a.m. And then, of course, later in April 16 at Forest Creek Golf Club, we have our golf tournament. We've brought the golf tournament back because it's outdoors and we can do outdoors things safely now. And so I want to encourage people to register quick. You'll need to talk with Laura McManus. She's our Director of Investor Relations. This event is almost totally sold out. So if you have an interest with that, please get with our Director of Investor Relations, Laura McManus, as soon as you can. For all those events, again, for safety purposes, we're asking people to please register, even if there's no cost to attend. You can find all those on our events page at roundrockchamber.org. I want to thank Reid again so much for a great conversation about what to expect with his organization and baseball. I cannot wait to get out to a game and have a hot dog and just enjoy being outside with my family there. And also Ryan from Whataburger. Ryan Hadlock, thank you so much for being our sponsor today. Again, we cannot do these programs without folks like Whataburger, but we'll step in and make our programming possible. Everyone, this concludes our program today. I want to thank everyone for sticking with us through some technical glitches today. It's been a fantastic start to the year, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.